We went over this a little bit, and so maybe Sandra can address it just a little more, but I think we pretty much covered it. How do you opt out, and what percentage need to opt out to disqualify test results? And is this happening, is it making a difference in states other than New York?
Sandra, Dr. Stusky, if you don't mind, I have led several people through the opt-out process.
Sure, great.
And I just want to make sure people understand the difference between leaving your student home and actually invalidating the test, because there are two different ways that you can opt out of standardized assessments. One is what Dr. Stusky said, which is to leave your child home. Unfortunately, testing windows can go 2-3 weeks at a time. And when your child comes back to school, because of the 95% mandated rule, they will try to test your child anyways. So the best way that you can opt your child out of standardized assessments, still participating in the standardized assessment, is by invalidating your test. And this is what takes a lot of gumption and a lot of persistence to do. Most principals and teachers will try to, or not teachers, but they're being told to try to intimidate you into taking the test, your child. So when you start to say things to your principal, I want to opt out, I want to boycott the test, they will start, especially if your student is a high flyer, what we call high achieving students, they want those scores because those scores raise school grades. And so if you are deciding to opt your child out, they must invalidate the test, because no score is better than a low score. And a lot of people think, oh, do you get a 0 on it if you invalidate the test? No. There is an actual code that happens when your son or daughter invalidates the test. So for computer-based testing, what they will most likely do, and you need to check specifically for Delaware because every state is different, but what they would do is go to their computer, you know, they're put in front of a computer, they go to the first screen, I believe they have to like type a code, and the next screen they have to say, I promise not to say what was on this test, whatever, and then they go to question number 1. And what they do is they allow the time to run out. And what that does is it invalidates the test because you have opened the test, basically, and you have not answered any questions. Another thing that you can do on paper pencil tests is break the seal of the test and then not answer them. Once the seal is broken on a paper test, then it is invalidated. Now, an invalidation score in Florida is called an NR2. In Delaware, I'm not sure what it's called. You will have to go to your Department of Education, and you'll have to hunt for that information. They don't put that out there for you to know. I also suggest that you team up with some United Opt-out groups. I'm sure there is one in Delaware, but if you would like, you can go to unitedoptout.org, and they have opt-out guides for every single state that tells you what you need to do for what state. You can also go to conversationed.com/webinar, and I did a webinar with Opt Out Orlando, and we talk about the entire process of opting out and what you need to do. There are sample opt-out letters, other steps, procedures that you need to take. There's a PowerPoint presentation with all the information you need in terms of opting out of the test. Some schools will, some school districts have actually voiced that they will accommodate parents who are planning on invalidating the test. So once your child breaks the seal, or once your child goes to the first question and your teacher knows that they are opting out, they can then take them to the library and allow them to read or do whatever they need to do if your library is not being used for testing. And some schools are accommodating, but some schools will make your child sit in what we call sit and stare. So that's why it's not for the faint of heart. If you're planning on boycotting these exams, you're pushing up against some big money, and it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of perseverance to do so. But what I suggest is you get 5 or 6 other people in your school that want to do the same. Go to any opt-out organizations in your area, and they can help you more on that. But the only way to stop the machine is to deny the fuel, and the fuel are the tests. So boycott the assessments.
All right. The